Welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? I hope you are having an amazing day. If you are new to my channel, I'm Vera, but you can call me V, and I share amazing stories. And so if this is something you love, please subscribe and like this video. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Today's shout out goes to Beatrice Achampon 7419 for being the first person to comment on my last video. Thank you so much for the support, babe. I love you. And now, without further delay, let's get right into it. My father died when I was young. He went out one morning and never came back. People said it was a snake bite. Others said it was witchcraft. All I knew was he was gone, and life got worse after that. I grew up in a small dusty village where every day felt like a battle. My mother was old and tired. My little sister, Ifia, was born different. She didn't speak like other kids. She was disabled. But I loved her deeply. I had to stop school and help my mother at the farm. We barely had enough to eat. Some days we ate only once. Life was really tough. Then one day, hope came in the form of a woman named Mama Joyce. She was from our village, but moved to Accra years ago. She returned driving a car and wearing a shiny wig. Everyone said she was rich. Girls ran to her like bees to honey. They said she was taking one girl back with her to work as a maid in the city. I knew I had to be that girl. I begged her like my life depended on it. I cried in front of her. I promised to give her half of whatever I earned for 6 months. I told her I would work like a donkey. I will clean, cook, wash, anything. I just wanted a chance. She finally agreed. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the roof of our small house, dreaming of my new life. The next morning, I packed the little I had and left with Mama Joyce. When I stepped into my madam's house in Accra, I didn't know I was walking straight into hell. When we got to Accra, I felt small and lost, but hopeful. I followed Mama Joyce into a big gate with a beautiful house behind it. My heart beat fast. Maybe my life was about to change. But the moment we stepped inside, my dreams died. A woman came down the stairs in high heels and heavy perfume. She stopped in front of me, looked me up and down, and hissed. She covered her nose and said, "She smells like goats. Is this what you brought me?" I wanted the ground to open and swallow me. She turned to me and snapped, "Go and bath. Use Dettol. Then throw those village rags away. Bend them if you have to. Don't speak to me until you are clean." I stood there, frozen. I didn't even know where the bathroom was. That was the moment I met Madame, my boss, a woman with no patience, no kindness, and no shame. Her eyes were always cold, her voice sharp like a knife. She didn't call me by name. She called hey. I was not a person to her. I was just a tool. That night, I cried silently in my small corner of the kitchen floor. I missed my mother. I missed the fear. But I told myself, just be strong, work hard, send money home. But the next morning brought something I never expected. She woke me up early and said, "Come and help my husband." I was confused. I hadn't even seen a man in the house. She led me to a room at the far end of the corridor. The moment she opened the door, a heavy smell hit my nose. My eyes burned. There he was, sitting in a wheelchair. His head hung low, and he didn't move. There was poop on the bed sheets. It looked like he hadn't been cleaned in days. I stepped back. "You will feed him," she said. "Clean him, feed him, change him. And if you can't do it, leave my house." My heart broke. This wasn't what I agreed to. I was supposed to be a maid, not a nurse. But I had no choice. I thought of my sister. I thought of the hunger in our house. And so I said yes. She stood outside the room, shouting orders, but refusing to come near. "That thing is your problem now. I am not touching him." She called her own husband that thing. And that is how it started. From day 2, I was no longer just a maid. I was a caregiver, a cleaner, and a punching bag. Each morning, I woke up before the sun and dragged my tired body to the man's room. The smell never left. It clung to my nose and my clothes. He sat in that same old wheelchair, eyes empty, body still. His head dropped to one side like he had no strength left to hold it up. His clothes were often soaked, and sometimes I found dried poop on his back. Ow. I wanted to cry, not for myself, but for him. How could a wife leave a husband like this? Madame never stepped into the room. She stood at the door, holding a cloth over her nose, shouting, "Make sure you clean him well. He stinks." Then she would turn and walk away like it was trash. I cleaned him with bare hands, no gloves, no soap for sensitive skin, nothing, just water and an old towel. When I asked her for gloves once, she laughed and said, "Do you think you are in a hospital? If you want gloves, go back to your dirty village." I bit my tongue and said nothing. Every day, she found new ways to humiliate me. If I missed the spot while sweeping, she would pour the whole dustbin back on the floor and tell me to start again. If the food was late by 5 minutes, she would slap the spoon out of my hand. Sometimes she threw slippers at me. Once she threw a hot cup of tea and it burned my chest. But I said nothing. I just kept working. I wasn't allowed to rest. Even when I was sick, I had to keep going. The money wasn't much, but it fed my family. That is all that mattered to me. One day, the girl who lived next door came to chat with me while I was fetching water. She whispered, "You know, Madame's husband has been like that for 3 years since the accident." I was shocked. 3 years, I asked. She nodded. He used to be a businessman. A car crash left him like that. Madame never wanted to take care of him. She says he's useless now. My heart broke again. I looked at the man the next morning as I cleaned him and thought, so this is what he has been through, alone, forgotten, unloved. Sometimes when I fed him, he blinked slowly. He couldn't speak, but I could feel his sadness. I would talk to him even if he didn't respond. I told him about Efia, about my mother, about how I wanted to go back to school one day. He never said a word, but in my heart, I knew he was listening. And every night, I prayed the same prayer. God, help me survive this house. And please don't let me become like her. It started on a quiet Tuesday morning. I was buffing him like I always did, slowly, gently, with care. I had just rinsed his face when I felt something strange. His fingers twitched. I froze. I thought I was seeing things. I looked again, and his fingers moved. Not just once, again and again. My heart almost jumped out of my chest. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run and call someone, but something stopped me. His eyes looked at mine, and for the first time, I saw life in them. That small movement became my secret hope. Each day, I kept helping him in secret. I massaged his arms and legs. I whispered, "You can do this. Just try." Sometimes I even moved his limbs for him, gently, like the way I used to help my sister stretch her legs. Weeks passed. He started lifting his fingers, then his wrists. Then one day, his toes jerked under the blanket. I smiled like a child who had found gold. Madame knew nothing. He barely checked on him unless someone important was visiting. Even then, she only came in to act like the loving wife, touch his hand, say sweet words, then disappear. But I saw the real him every day, and he was waking up. Month after month, he got stronger. He could move his hand. He could shift his feet. Once, he even made a soft sound from his throat. It wasn't a word, but it gave me hope. I didn't tell Madame. I didn't trust her. I was afraid that if she found out, she would stop everything or even hurt him out of jealousy or fear. So I stayed quiet until that one terrible afternoon. I was helping him stretch his arms, and for the first time, he lifted it all by himself. I clapped my hands and whispered, "You did it." And that was when she walked in. Her heels clicked loudly across the floor. She saw his raised hand and stopped. Her eyes widened. "What is going on here?" she shouted. I couldn't speak. She rushed to me, raised her hand, and slapped me hard across the face. "You wicked little rat. You have been hiding this from me," she screamed. "So you want to make me look stupid? In my own house?" She slapped me again. My cheek burned. Then she pointed to the door. "Pack your things. You are leaving my house today." I don't care where you go. You are finished here. Tears filled my eyes, not for myself, but for him, for the progress we had made, for the bond we had quietly built. I looked at him, sitting helpless in the chair, eyes wide with fear. He couldn't speak, but I saw it in his face. He didn't want me to go. Ow. But just like that, I was thrown out. I left that house with nothing but my old bag, my torn slippers, and a heart full of pain. Tears rolled down my face as I walked through the streets of Accra. People stared, but I didn't care. My chest was heavy. I had worked like a slave for almost 3 years, and in the end, I was thrown out like trash. But I wasn't just sad, I was scared. What will I tell my mother? What will happen to my sister now? How will we eat? Still, before I left the city, I did one last thing. I used my last coins to buy credits and called the only number I had for his family. His sister in Nigeria. She had visited only a few times, but I remembered how kind her eyes looked. When she picked up, I spoke fast, my voice shaking. Please, madam, I just wanted you to know your brother is getting better. He is moving. He can lift his hand. It's not the same as before. I helped him. There was silence. Then she said softly, "Oh my God, are you sure?" Yes, I replied, tears falling again. But his wife doesn't want anyone to know. He sacked me today for helping him. She went quiet again, then said, "Thank you for telling me. I will be there soon. Don't worry. God will bless you." That was the last time we spoke. I returned to the village, dusty and defeated. The moment my mother saw me, she knew something was wrong. She didn't ask many questions. She just hugged me. I smiled, but inside I was broken. Life went back to how it was, hard, dry, and hopeless. I started working on people's farm for small money. Sometimes I sold firewood. Some days we had nothing but soaked gari and salt to eat. I thought this was the end of my story, that I had been foolish to hope for more. But then, almost a year later, something strange happened. One of our neighbors came running to our house. "Abina, there's a man looking for you. A big man, wearing nice clothes. He's at the square asking for you." I wiped my hands on my wrapper and ran, my heart beating. When I reached the roadside, I saw him, standing tall, clean and strong. It was him. The man I used to feed, clean and talk to like a friend, was now standing like a king. At first, I didn't recognize him. He looked nothing like the weak, helpless man I had once known. His skin glowed, he smiled. I still remember how the wind blew through the trees that day. The sky was bright, but my heart was brighter. He stood in front of me, the man I once cleaned and fed like a baby. But now he stood tall, strong, and full of life. He called my name. Then he smiled and hugged me tight, right there in the middle of the village square. My neighbors stared in shock. Some whispered, others gasped, but I didn't care. I was frozen. I couldn't even breathe. He held my hands and said, "You saved me." He told me how after I left, his sister flew in from Nigeria the same week. She saw him try to move, just like I told her. She stayed with him for months, brought in doctors and nurses. Slowly, he began to walk again. Then he started talking, then eating by himself. He was a new man. But the biggest shock came next. When I could finally speak properly, I asked my wife to leave. "You did?" I asked, eyes wide. He nodded. She cried, begged, tried to act like the loving wife, but it was too late. She had already shown me who she really was. I was done. Then he looked around the dusty village road, past the old houses and dry grass. "You don't belong here. You deserve better." He said he wanted to change my life, and not just mine. "Go pack your things, bring your mother, bring a fia, come live with me. I will take care of everything." I broke down. Tears flowed like rain. After everything, the insults, the beatings, the hunger, I never imagined this day would come. I ran home and told my mother. She sat down on the bare floor and held her chest. Efia danced around, not understanding fully, but happy because I was happy. By the next day, we were gone. From a mud house with leaking roofs to a beautiful home with clean sheets and soft beds. Just like that, my past was behind me. Peace didn't last long. We had only been in our new home for a few weeks. My mother had her own room. Efia was always smiling. I had clean clothes, enough food, and a soft bed for the first time in my life. I even started thinking about going back to school. Then one hot afternoon, trouble came knocking. I was outside sweeping the front yard when I heard shouting from the gate. Where is she? Where is that witch? She planned this all along. It was her, Madame. But she didn't come alone. A younger brother and sister were with her. All three of them were shouting and banging on the gate like they wanted to tear it down. I froze. My heart started racing. She pointed at me through the gate bars and screamed, "So it is true. You moved in like a thief. You think you have won. You bewitched my husband." I didn't say a word. Neighbors started peeking from their windows. Some stood on the street, watching the drama like a movie. I could feel all eyes on me, but I stayed calm. Then the gate opened. He came out. The same man she once left in fields now looked like a king, and he was angry. "Leave now," he said coldly. "You are not welcome here." She started crying. "She's lying to you. I was always a good wife. She tricked you. This girl is evil." He shook his head. "You abused me when I couldn't speak. You left me to rot. You only touched me when people were watching. Don't come here playing victim." She dropped to her knees and begged, but he wasn't moved. "If you ever come near my home again, I will call the police," he warned. Her siblings pulled her up. She threw one last insult at me. "This isn't over," then stormed away, defeated. I stood there, frozen. For years, she had been the one shouting, slapping, insulting me, and now she was the one being thrown out. I was just 23 years old, and for the first time in my life, I felt powerful. Life after the storm was beautiful. With his support, I enrolled in remedial school. I studied like my life depended on it because it did. I passed my exams and got into nursing school. Me, a girl from the village, a nursing student. Sometimes I would sit on the balcony and cry, not from pain this time, but from joy. Efia had her own caregiver now, someone trained to help her. My mother no longer had to work in the hot sun, and the man who changed my life treated me like a daughter. He was like the father I never had. We lived in peace for years. No shouting, no beating, no hunger. I had put the past behind me. Until one quiet afternoon, the past came knocking again. I was helping Efia eat when the security guard walked in and said, "Madam, someone is at the gates. Says she knows you." I walked out and my heart almost stopped. It was her. But this time, she didn't look like the woman who used to shout and slap. Her wig was gone. Her clothes were faded. Her eyes were hollow. She looked thin, like the shadow of her old self. She didn't shout this time. She begged, "Please, I need help. I haven't eaten in 2 days. Things are hard. I'm sorry for everything, but please." He came out behind me, saw her, and turned back without a word. "I am not giving her a dime," he said firmly, but I stepped forward. "Please, even if it is small, let her eat. I know what hunger feels like." He looked at me for a moment, then nodded. "Because of you." He gave her some money. She took it with shaking hands. She didn't even look at him. But just before she turned to leave, she faced me. Her voice cracked. "Thank you." That was all she said. Then she walked away. No more insults, no more power. Just a woman who had fallen from the throne she once ruled. And me, I was no longer the scared village girl she once abused. I was someone new. Sometimes life doesn't get better overnight, but if you stay kind, stay strong, and keep your heart clean, your day will come. Mine did. The end. Ow, this is a beautiful story. I'm so happy you got your happy ending, babe. This story is proof that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is hope and things can change. Also, if you do good, the universe rewards you. Imagine moving into this house like she did, seeing this man in the wheelchair. The man is not related to her. She could have just decided to treat the man like the way his wife was treating him. Because at the end of the day, the wife was not even kind to her. So she could have put all her frustration on this man in the wheelchair. But she didn't. And because of that, she was rewarded. And like she said, sometimes life doesn't get better overnight. It takes time, but things will get better. If you are going through hard times, have hope. Your time will come. Things will get better for you. I hope you enjoyed this story like I did. Let me hear your thoughts down below. And like always, this is a judgment-free zone. We listen, we don't judge. So please be kind to her in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. If you've not subscribed yet, please do. And also turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. See you next time. Okay, I'm done. Bye.